Brawl Ball is one of the most popular, unpredictable, and chaotic game modes where matches can be won in a flash or drawn out until the end. If you want to skip, you can go to this timestamp. No matter your level of experience in the game, one can never truly control how a game of Brawl Ball will go. Because of this, no one can ever truly guarantee a victory. But you can be sure that whenever you enter a match of Brawl Ball, your chances of catastrophically losing and attaining yet another win will be higher after watching this guide. Now, what makes Brawl Ball so special and unique is that win condition is so different to other game modes in Brawl Stars, or even shooting games as a whole. The whole idea of playing football while also being able to blast someone in the face hasn't been done anywhere before to my knowledge. So naturally, the strategies that have been devised and adapted to fit in this unique game mode are visibly different from other conventional strategies. In addition, since it's a team game, the outcome will always heavily rely on not only your capabilities, but also on your teammates and enemy skill and competence in particular. Because, as surprising as it is, I'm sure you have all seen that one player that spins around with the ball and never shoots it in the goal. So in this fully comprehensible guide, you will know how to navigate and manage the chaotic land of Brawl Ball, raising your trophies. This chapter is for those who truly aren't familiar with Brawl Ball in general. You can skip this timestamp to actually get into the main course. Some basics that all must know is that with a ball, you can't attack. You can aim to shoot or use your super for a much stronger shot. You can't use your gadgets or star powers while you have the ball either. So you have to rely on your teammates to clear a path or use characters that have abilities that buff you or debuff your enemies such as shields, slows, and speed ups. If you have the ball, people can see you in the bushes, so it's no use trying to sneak past. Depending on the map, different types of brawlers can be played such as long range, short range, or throwers. The fundamental thing to know is that match revolves around the bell. So you shouldn't go off and just try to kill everyone. You should try to protect the ball and support your teammates if they have the ball. Basically, just use common sense. That is practically all you need to know for a beginner. The next chapter is much more detailed, so let's move on. For the main Brawl Ball guide, there are many separate pieces of information, so I will split each topic or thing to keep in mind into different sections. Starting with team composition. In every Brawl Ball match, your strategy should be passed largely on what brawlers your team has and what brawlers the enemy has. The enemy brawlers will likely tell you what approach they're going to take. For example, if they are all close-range assassins, they will probably play with ambushes and take the ball and quickly move past your team with their supers, since assassins are usually fast. If they're all long-range brawlers, then they will likely play aggressively for possession of the ball and try to take down your team first and then score the ball. With this, even before the match starts, if you are playing with your friends, you can start with a predetermined brawler composition, which will then decide your playstyle for the following match. However, as both of the teams have their composition to attempt to achieve victory with their attempted playstyle, it is inevitable that when you start fighting, one of the teams will lose or win, partly based on the success of the composition, maybe because of your teamwork, level, or skill. Based on this, it determines whether the game will be quick and result in an easy win or loss, or a long drawn-out intense game. When one team is superior to another, usually in composition or teamwork, they can easily score the 2 goals and win pretty fast. Also, if one team's brawler counter the enemy's brawlers individually, they will also have a much easier time killing the enemy team and scoring a goal afterwards, even if the composition was made with a different strategy intended. So if you happen to win a couple of games very easily, don't start fooling around because of it. You likely just happen to be lucky by getting good teammates or bad enemies, since in the end, having a good team just increases your chances of winning, as you can always get unlucky and go up against a team that just so happens to counter your brawlers. The same goes for losing. If you lose horribly quickly one time, it means you have changed brawlers or your playstyle. Because if you just keep switching to different brawlers because you lost once, you will likely end up losing again. However, all this generally applies when you are playing with friends. If you're playing with randoms each game, then there is nothing weird in having long losing streaks. If anything, you are getting very lucky if you have a long win streak playing with randoms. If you play with friends, then having a win streak usually means you have a good composition, while losing consistently means you have to switch up your brawlers. If you play with randoms, perhaps for a quick match, you can still have a higher chance of winning if you analyze the enemy compositions and adapt to your teammates' brawlers and their playstyle, or by pressing the play again button to try and play with a random that you see is good and can use teamwork with you. By the way, if you're playing with a brawler that has a high trophy level, playing with a random is a massive risk. It is basically suicide.
No.
You are likely going to lose.
Wait.
To summarize this part, just like football, Brawl Ball is about teamwork and strategy, by using each brawler together with others and trying to make sure that your strategy works over the enemies. Moving on to a separate matter, when choosing what team composition or what brawler to use, you should consider the map type, your skill level or your teammate's skill level, and generally the good brawlers for Brawl Ball. Regarding the map type, it's pretty similar to other game modes. If it's an open map, choose long-range brawlers. If it has lots of bushes, choose short-range brawlers. It is pretty simple really. The more complicated part is choosing a brawler that matches your skill, as well as brawlers that are generally good at Brawl Ball. For example, Mortis is really good in Brawl Ball, but if you're naturally good with him, you will do more harm than good. On the other hand, even if you are pretty good at a certain brawler like 8-bit, I don't suggest playing him in Brawl Ball since he's insanely slow. So it's better to pick a brawler that is both good in Brawl Ball and that you can play with. You can easily find tier lists of brawlers in Brawl Ball to find good brawlers. The only exception to this rule, I would say, is if you are insanely good at a certain brawler and it is also beneficial in some other aspect, such as the team composition or the map type, even if said brawler is not a good pick generally. Finally, I will talk about some other things you may see in the Brawl Ball game. There are many different and abstract team compositions that aren't all just long range or short range. There can be a team centered around one brawler, like one tank and two healers, or it might be normally a balanced team that you would see in other game modes. In games like these, they should be treated just like any other game. However, sometimes you might play a game where you encounter an absolutely cracked player with amazing skills, utterly decimating the enemy team or your team. Whenever you face with or against these one-man armies, it's best to just consider it as another scenario completely, and just adapt to whatever is going on. On the other hand, you might encounter a player that plays as if they had their brain removed, making utterly horrible plays that bring their team to ruin. In times like these, you either take advantage of this for an easy win, or consider everything hopeless if they're with you. You can avoid the chance of them being in your team by playing with friends, which could also be considered another advantage. Truly, the last thing to know is that in a match, you must adapt to the flow of the game. Many times things will not go as planned or better than planned. In Brawl Ball, you must always adapt based on your situation, just like in real-life football. That is the best way to consistently win games more often. This is unfortunately the end of the Brawl Ball guide. One thing to note, that this is my opinion, and it's not so official, so you can be free to disagree with any part you like. This is the second of my Brawl Stars game mode guide. Like and subscribe so you're aware when the next guide comes out. And check out my previous showdown guide here to continue on rising in Brawl Stars.